Yeah. Have you seen the enhanced games?
Apparently, they're going to actually be going through with this, the enhanced games.
They're calling it the Enhanced Games, set for next summer.
I'm Dr. Aaron D'Souza, president of the Enhanced Games.
And I'm Christian Angermeyer, co-founder of the Enhanced Games.
So as you can see from the title, we are again talking about the Enhanced Games. So this first came onto the scene for us 6 months ago. So just before Christmas last year, on the 13th of December, we put up a video. Basically, it was Derek from More Plates, More Dates was on with Joe Rogan. And it was kind of off the cuff, kind of talking about the enhanced games. And now, Joe has gone one step further and actually gotten the guys from the enhanced games onto his podcast.
Yes, it looks like it might go ahead.
Yeah, so they're saying probably for the end of 2025.
When is going to be the first enhanced games?
We're targeting for the end of 2025.
There's no like specific month or date that they have in mind, no location as such yet. It's kind of still up in the air.
I think one of the biggest things is going to be location. What country would be willing to host the whole thing?
Yeah,
you know?
So they did mention that as well, that like unlike the Olympics, which like puts so much money and infrastructure into a specific place for like what, realistically a month of competition,
something like that. Yeah.
They're hoping that they might be able to go to different cities or even different countries and through the magic of TV, as they say, put it all into one place.
We don't need all of our infrastructure in the same place. The swimming could be in Sydney, the track and field could be in Los Angeles, the weightlifting could be in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that sounds complicated if you ask me.
Very, very complicated.
Yeah. Though the two guys, the co-founders of the Enhanced Games, they sound kind of like they know what they're talking about in a way.
Yeah, like they seem very well educated on what they're like looking forward to doing. Like
in that podcast with Joe Rogan, they kind of went in depth when it comes to PEDs, and then they went into like all other
psychedelics,
host of drugs.
With the highest individual and social risk is alcohol and heroin, and on the other side,
psychedelics.
Like mushrooms, weed, what do they talk about? So many things.
Yeah, like they even talked about Ozempic. Like Ozempic was another thing they mentioned. Like, I am actually very surprised at how much they've actually put their lives into the enhanced games. Like even one of them was saying himself, like he's at the moment enhancing himself.
Yes.
So like
the German guy.
Yeah. So practice what you preach, I suppose. Like it's.
Yeah.
So I'm going through the enhancement process of an athlete myself, and it's unbelievable. Like you feel 20 years younger in like recovery. I can train every day.
It is crazy.
He takes a lot of everything.
Yeah, from the
he takes testosterone, from what I remember. He takes an Adderall, a bit of that, a bit of this, and but I don't know. He doesn't look too bad yet.
No, not yet. He says he's doing blood tests every 2 weeks.
Yeah, which again, blood tests are probably gonna be the most important thing for getting ready for these games, and how are they gonna monitor athletes as well? How often? What's the
protocol?
It's gonna be so interesting because everybody has different genetics. So one person can take way more PEDs than the other one,
and be responding more to it.
Yeah, and some guy can take less and respond better than the guy who takes more. So if it's gonna go ahead, I think a lot of doctors and I don't know, medical field will be very interesting. I would be if I was a doctor as well, because it's a lot of good data to sort of follow. If someone is willing to do all that stuff and to allow people to monitor the whole process, everything, I think it's not a bad idea if you ask me.
No, so like they were even saying themselves that like the people that are going to be doing it, like they're not forced to do it. Like,
loads of athletes are doing it anyway.
What did they say themselves? Like I think it was Usain Bolt is probably one of the only guys.
The only guys who's I believe he's the only guys out of top 10 fastest people on the planet who was never caught, right?
I love how he said never caught.
He was never caught. And I don't know if Olympic Games as such can afford to catch him.
Yeah, they even said themselves, I think at the very start of the podcast, was it that 44% of athletes have said they have taken PEDs at some stage, and then what was it, Joe Rogan came out and said, and the rest lied.
Yeah, and the rest of them lied pretty much, so it's the same with the Lance Armstrong. You remember, like
with EPO.
Yeah, with EPO, so and they said they had to go down to number 20 something or to give the first place.
Way out of like the ranks.
And the dude was probably taking it, but he was able to hide it better. I don't know. Maybe it's all strange, and there's so many athletes in Olympic Games who like getting stripped of their medals after 8 years, like, you know. So it's kind of a bit strange as such, and after 8 years you're already kind of like out of the scene, and they come in and it's like, okay, we're gonna take your gold medal. You're like, okay, I already reaped all the rewards for that gold medal.
I probably sold it already.
yeah, and you're like, yeah, whatever, take it, you know.
But that's it as well, like when it comes to the, like I said, about selling the medals, like it'll probably come to a stage where athletes have to do it, because they even said themselves that, was it the average Olympian or athlete, $30,000 a year?
Yeah, very bad. Yeah,
The average American Olympian only earns $30,000 a year.
You'd make more, say, working in a shop.
Yeah.
As a sales assistant, like.
More like as an electrician.
Yeah, like
the guy who works in the construction.
A trade, like.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like they're even saying now that, like, I think it was at athletics, they were saying they're going to offer $100,000 for first place in the athletics. If you break the record in, say, these top five, not 5 events, but in athletics and probably swimming, they were going to offer $1 million. So it's
that sounds to me reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable money, yeah.
It's not like that Finishers Championship that where they offered.
We promised we'd never talk about it again.
we kind of have to. I'll have to remind everyone when all these strongmen were promised like millions,
crazy
millions, which straight away from what said it's
how do you justify it?
How are you gonna make all that money? And that, it was just anyway. So this one sounds about right. So if you win a gold medal, it's 100K. It's like.
You break the record.
Not that much,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Strongmen are getting more for
Rogue Invitational, like they're getting more money, you know, and people will watch, you know.
Look, without a doubt,
yes,
there's going to be a draw, and it's like there's no. It's a horrible way to say it, but it's a circus show. It's a freak show.
It's a freak show.
It's an attraction.
Every sport is a freak show, but this one it's enhanced. So you expecting to see the everyone is like
Victor Belfort.
Yeah, Victor Belfort, just big traps and just. Big jack guys like trying to break 100-meter record, like
there's some athletes that compete just because it's not the most attractive field, like of sports.
The same with boxing, you kind of like you win the gold medal, but so what?
Yeah, that's it. Like, and
I even until you become a pro, it doesn't really
like Katie Taylor. She was like probably hands down the greatest female fighter of all time, and she had to turn pro because like you're not going to make the money in the Olympics.
No, there's no money in the Olympics. So these guys are trying to change that, which is kind of nice. And to be honest, to be fair, when it comes to PEDs, there's more and more and more talks about it. In my opinion, maybe a little bit even too much at this point.
I agree. I think it's become so mainstream.
It's mainstream. It's normalized, which I kind of like. I don't know. I have kind of mixed emotions about it.
I do too, yeah.
Because in the past, it was really demonized for... right or wrong reasons. I don't know. To me, it's like heavy drugs are way more dangerous than PEDs, in my opinion. Because when you take PEDs, you still kind of have to be like, as an athlete, you still have to be like, focus on your nutrition, focus on your sleep. You can't go and party and do crazy stuff, and like you need to focus on your body as such, because if you take this and you take the drugs, heavy drugs on top of it, you kind of counteract what you're trying to achieve, which to me is like, so it's not a bad thing that the PEDs maybe like just not as the worst thing ever, which is to me, it's not. It's like, again, heavy drugs, cocaine, heroin,
look,
it's way worse.
But as well as that, like I mentioned it a bit when I came in here, because when I was listening to the Enhanced Games, and I'm going to say it again, like Ozempic, like
yes,
Ozempic is so mainstream now. Like everybody that's a bit heavy, like what did I say? I think it's equated to $1 trillion in revenue or something.
I spoke to so many customers in the gym.
Yeah,
that they know people that they tried. And they are taking themselves.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Like and
people who don't really even need it, in my opinion.
But that's it. Like it's crazy that like it was. First of all, it was for people that had diabetes, and then it was then prescribed for people that were heavily obese.
Yeah.
Now they're saying that in America it's 83% off-label prescriptions.
Black market, pretty much.
Black market. So basically, for people that don't need it. And to me, it annoys me because instead of focusing on your nutrition and your training and your sleep and all these kind of things that you need to change in your life to actually lose weight, instead of just going to say, right, I'll take Ozempic, my body will regulate itself as to what calories it needs.
To be fair, there are people that need that.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's for people that have diabetes and for people that are morbidly obese or heavily obese.
Or like they have like some sort of a mental sort of like a disorder or something like that. I don't know what you call it.
The mental blockage.
Disability or something like that, where like uncontrollably they have to eat a lot of food to. It's like a comfort eating, I guess.
Look,
to them, to give it to them, it's kind of like makes sense.
Yeah, but so for someone that's like 4 or 5 kilos overweight,
and they know why they are kind of overweight, that they can fix that just with just eating less, moving a bit more.
Exactly.
And they're like, nah, I'm gonna take.
But like that's become mainstream. You see on TikTok, you have like Sam Sulek has become mainstream for like all these PEDs. Like if you go into Greg Doucette, you go into Derek for More Plays More Dates, you'll see literally every single day they have new guys on social media that has become mainstream, and it is scary because unless they have the guidance or the know-how and things like this, like it's so dangerous. Like
especially with like that video of a 14-year-old.
Yeah, 14-year-old on Tren.
That's just. I don't know if it's true. It says it might be 17.
Yeah.
Nevertheless,
it's still so young.
That's
like
insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
But even like that's off topic, I suppose. All these kind of talking. But when you go back to the enhanced games,
but it kind of is on topic because if you like look at Sam Sulek, right? He's openly admitting taking PEDs. He's a millionaire now.
Yeah, multi-millionaire.
He haven't stepped on a stage. He haven't competed yet, and the dude is like loaded.
Yeah, he doesn't have to sell apparel or anything. I don't think.
No, nothing. It's like it's all thanks to PEDs. He paid the price later in life.
Most likely, yeah.
Like but he's pretty much set up, and I don't know where he's from, but he looks like a very ordinary guy. If you know it. Even the gym, it doesn't look too flashy. I don't know. Is he from a wealthy state as such? I don't know.
Yeah, like there's not flashy. It's not like flashy cars. Like he drives around just a normal Honda, I think.
For example, like Chris Bumstead, like when he trains, he has his own gym.
He's got the Charger.
Yeah, I know he's Canadian, but nevertheless, you can see,
Camaro, whatever it is.
He shows his cars and all this stuff. But he seems like he's still like a humble guy. Is it like a marketing thing? I don't know.
Marketing, or maybe it's a mindset thing as well.
Yeah,
for your own sake.
Yes. Yeah.
But like, how do you put it? Like, again, because of PEDs or where they are.
Yeah,
like.
So they're making all the money. And Olympic athletes, they bust like their asses basically for these 3 years to get ready to qualify for Olympic Games. And at the end of that, you'll get a medal if you're very lucky. If not, you're like, great job and see you later.
They're even saying now that the guys from the Enhanced Games are obviously saying it. Like the World Athletic Association or the head of athletics is now offering $50,000 for a first place for the gold medal. So like this is what they're saying themselves, and they're saying it's probably due to the Enhanced Games offering money for first place. But even at that, like $50,000 for 4 years training.
It's like Giants Life pays $30,000 if you win Giants Life just out of 5 or 6 competitions.
But if you think of it, if you won Giants Life 4 years in a row,
you're
getting $120,000.
Yeah.
And that's only for
just
one show.
One show.
You could win 4 shows in 1 year, like Mitchell Hooper or Alexei Novikov.
It's kind of strange. So the question would be, who is making all that money then?
Olympics.
But like,
the Olympics is like makes billions.
Again, the boys at the top.
Yeah.
Making all the cash.
But I can understand, like, and you know, like you could say, like, oh, sure, the athletes don't get them to do it. But that, like, if you are a child and you're growing up and you see all these big guys or these women and you're like, oh, I want to be like a track star. I want to be the number one athlete in the world. You're not going to say, right, just because I get $30,000, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. If you have a love for it, you're going to do it.
If you have money, I think it's just it's a big incentive to
now it is.
Yes, even talking from my personal experience. So I started as an arm wrestler, but at 23 I have to transition into strongman because there was money. There was no money. So to me, it's very hard to sort of. There is now, but even now, it's not great. From what we heard, it's not.
No,
it's like not great at all. But to me, it's like it makes sense to go into the sports where like maybe you're gonna
Make some sort of money.
make
yeah.
some sort of money, make the living out of it, you know. So
And now
hopefully with these games now, I know it's like it's so strange because
Yeah, but because we can't fathom it because it's not obviously something that's happened
Yeah.
before. So it's. But look, they say themselves that they're going to have enough, say, venture capital gained or enough, say, money saved that they'll be able to go for 3 years without external influences such as social media or ticket sales or anything like that. They're hoping for a long-term project. So look, maybe they have an idea that it could happen.
it would be nice to see if they can get like 3 years out of it.
At least.
You know. So and hopefully it will go ahead, to be honest. Like that, I know loads of people disagree it's dangerous, all that stuff, but if there's doctors to monitor them, and basically if they see that their results coming back out of whack and they can pull them,
Yeah, it's a get out.
yeah, so it kind of like it's okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's
Once it's
a good
done,
thing.
once it's done, like above board and
Yeah.
everything is done properly.
Yeah, and again, a lot of research will be done, a lot of tests, a lot of data will be analyzed from it as well, which is kind of like
a win-win for everyone.
win-win for everyone. Yeah.